we are again.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. We just finished a couple days in Malaysia.
Yes.
Whole new country.
Whole new country.
Yes. And we did some fun stuff. Not my favorite country so far.
I don't know. Well, it's too early for the spoiler. But you can just look back at the beautiful beach.
Well,
in the
that's true.
background.
Yeah, we painted a new background that's on the spinning thing
Yes,
behind us.
yes.
So, yeah,
Yes.
that's good.
So we are currently pulling away from Malaysia.
Mm-hmm.
This is our last day, but we'll cover that on another episode.
Mm-hmm.
But big city of Kuala Lumpur,
The big KL.
KL,
That's
as
what
the locals call
That's
it.
right. That's what the people in the know say. The big KL. Yeah,
Indeed.
it is a big city.
It is very modern.
Yes, and
Lots of cool
expansive. I mean, it just goes on forever. Yeah, lots of skyscrapers.
Yep.
Yes.
We'll cover that a little bit later in the show.
That's true. But we pulled in, and a friend of ours that we've known all of 2 months.
Since we got on the boat 2 months ago.
Exactly. Had arranged this tour. She had found it and had let us all know about it in advance. It looked really good.
On the internet.
On the internet, yes. She
And
found it on the
people
internet.
signed up that we'd never met.
Yes. So we were in a van.
Does that work?
We were in a van. How many? There were 10 of us.
10 of us.
10 of us, the tour guide, and the driver. Yes. I will say, much like Indonesia,
Very much so.
you're not getting anywhere too fast.
No, that's for sure.
In the KL.
We drove about 150 kilometers, 90 miles,
Mm-hmm.
and it took us nearly 5 hours of driving.
Oh, just drive time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
drive time.
What time did we leave?
Yeah, it was early.
9?
Yeah, and we didn't get back till 9.
It was 10. Because it was 10:30, yes. And we got back at 9 o'clock. So, yeah, we were gone all day.
Yes, and we will tell you more about that, but only in private. It's not for
general consumption.
Yes.
Some pretty interesting things we saw, though. I kind of was in the middle of the van, so it was hard for me to see outside the sights, but I could spot the Petronas Towers off in the distance. You were on the complete wrong side of the van.
I couldn't see
you couldn't
anything.
even bend forward and
No.
see them. Yeah, but we went way past them, and we were going to a cable car that was going to take us up a mountain.
Correct.
And
Well, actually,
visit.
we were this day's tour. We were not in Kuala Lumpur, but we
Right.
traveled
through it or past
through it and past it to what
Mhm.
was called the Gentling Highlands,
Yes.
and it was an area where we were doing most of our activity. We were above a mile high. The mountain peak that we took was
That's
about 5,800 feet.
I
So
forgot.
the temperature was
It was
just
lovely.
below 70, 68, and
Yeah.
compared to 92, 93 degrees in the city, not counting the
Humidity, yeah.
humidity and the heat factor. It was another
Mhm.
100-degree day.
Yeah. Yeah.
But once we got way up in the mountains, it did feel good.
It felt just fine.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Wasn't terribly crowded.
The Highlands? No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Though, when we got in line for the cable car, I kind of thought we were at Disney World for a
Yeah,
second.
it was a 20-minute wait going back and forth up and down the conga line.
Yeah, the conga line. That's a good word for it. But, I got to see some little girls with cute hats.
Yes.
They had little bunny ear hats, and they had, little squeeze balls that hung down, and if they squeeze it, then their little ear would go up. So it was like...
They could flap their ears, yes.
They were really cute.
They were. Yes, that was
That
the
was
only thing that entertained us while we were waiting in line.
I saw, now of course, we weren't up the mountain yet, so it was still
No.
hot down there.
Yes.
I saw a fellow tourist in line with a sweatshirt on.
Mm.
It was a funny sweatshirt because it was from the office. So I,
Yes.
of course, had to take a picture because, I'm a big, big Office fan.
Well, it was named, the company was
The
named after Steve.
No, it was a Michael Scott paper
Michael
company.
Scott Paper Company.
Which, yes, I won't get into the weeds, but
But
if
you
you're an
gotta
office
send that
fan,
to the office ladies.
yeah, you're
You
right.
gotta send that photo.
You're right.
Yes.
But that this man had this sweatshirt on, and,
Oh,
and we're
and there
ready
was a
to,
woman with a puffy jacket.
We're ready to just evaporate.
Well, they were told it's cold at the top of the mountain, I guess, and they were
please.
prepared.
it was crazy. So yes, we get to the front, and these little cable cars don't stop.
No, it's just like being on a ski lift. They slow down and brake, but you got to jump in while it's still moving.
And people are getting off on the other side.
Yes.
So you can't just jump right in them. You got to wait for it to empty, and then kind of run alongside it and get in.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, I'm not sure this would happen in America.
It's no different from the ski slopes, though.
I guess we saw no incidences.
Nobody got trapped. Fell out.
It was good. And we rode up. We had a couple ladies that had some height.
Issues.
Yeah, height.
Scared of heights.
Yeah, yeah. Though the heights weren't.
It wasn't that much.
It wasn't.
I was
didn't think
I
it
was
that
going to
much.
try to calm them down by telling them, it doesn't matter how high we are. If you fall from this height, we're still going to all die.
That would have certainly made them feel
I'm
better.
sure it would have.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, it would just shown how silly their phobia of heights
Their
was.
irrational. Well,
Yes.
there is something to be said about borrowing worry. If you get yourself all worked up, and then it finally happens, and it's not that bad, you just worked yourself up for nothing.
Oh, she worried an hour and a half before we even got there.
I know.
And she was just totally amazed by the fact that the tour guide didn't know the height of the gondola above the ground.
That wasn't part of the information he had memorized for our
Exactly.
for our
But
excursion.
we're going to do a whole separate episode on some of the goofy things we have heard over the last 2 months on the boat.
Yeah.
But yes,
Okay.
that's another day.
So when we did get to the top of the mountain, it was a huge facility that was a Buddhist compound. So it had a pagoda,
Yep.
and it had a temple, and it had a cave, and a huge Buddha.
At the top, they had the goddess of mercy,
Right.
Guanyin.
Yes. Very, very pretty.
Yes.
Lovely. Lots of people there. Everybody was being very respectful.
Yes.
Lots of tourists.
Hmm.
Saw some monks
With their cell phones.
with their cell phones. I thought that was really cool. They
Yeah.
were taking pictures.
They were taking
and-
pictures of each other and some selfies.
enjoying
and all.
themselves, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah,
Yeah.
they all seem pretty young. I would have loved to talk to them, but I'm not brave enough for that. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Should have had my
Neither.
picture taken with them.
Well, I don't. Maybe they don't know English. Who knows?
Well, that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Amy almost brought a pet home.
Yeah, they did.
You didn't want it?
No.
The bug with the blue suede shoes.
He was an interesting looking bug.
He was very interesting.
Pretty big. He was probably this
A
big.
couple inches.
Now that was just his body, because his antennas
Yeah.
were as long as my finger.
They were pretty long,
He was gorgeous.
as far as bugs go.
Right. Didn't think to get Greedo out and take a picture with him until it was too late. I was halfway around, so sorry, Sean. So,
Yeah.
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 So, yeah, we walked around. We walked through some passageways, some cave, carved out stairs, and admired the.
Yes. This was
The
one of
views.
the larger Buddhist complexes within
Yes.
Malaysia.
Ah,
The other
okay.
one was Indonesia that we had talked about earlier.
Right. Right.
And it was well worth going all the way to the top.
Oh yeah, and the views were stunning.
Yes.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, overall, the nickname for this complex was the Temple of the 10,000 Buddhas. There were Buddhas everywhere.
I think you're thinking of different. That
Well,
was the other place.
No, that's where.
There were a lot of Buddhists.
Okay. All right. Another
We-
errata needs to be added somewhere in the editing of this.
We're hitting a lot of Buddhas. So we have seen quite quite a few Hindu temples and quite a few Buddhist temples. Still no mosque.
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
still keeping our eyes open for mosques. Ramadan is over.
Yep.
So
No more fasting.
it could happen anytime. Yes, we'll see.
Okay.
So yeah, we saw that. After we were done with that, we
Came down off the mountain.
did without any issues. No cables snapped. No
Nope.
cars
Nope.
fell to their death.
But we did divert to an early dinner as
Yes.
part of the tour because we had to go to another mountainside
Yes,
for the
and
rest.
by this time it was 3:30,
Yeah.
and we had left at 10. This girl was hungry, so I was all in favor. And our choices were Chinese or Thai. Now, the deciding factor was not the food.
No, it was so determined because they had at least one Western style toilet in the place,
And he felt it was cleaner.
cleaner than the other place.
Yes, that the toilet was cleaner, and yes, and Western. So we all decided Thai sounded lovely.
And we had to emphasize every time mild spice.
Yes.
Nothing like you guys normally do
Right,
it.
right. Now I will say, not had a lot of Thai food either. I thought it was excellent.
Mhm.
I think everyone in our group enjoyed it.
Oh, all the food was gone.
It was all gone.
Yeah.
So I was pleased with that because our hosts, we can't really express to them,
Yeah, how
but
bad
they can see
Yeah.
that we ate it all.
we did.
So
And they couldn't eat that day because they're fasting, yet they're serving us food everywhere.
were they Muslim? Oh,
They had the hijabs on. Hijabs.
oh,
Yes.
I don't recall that.
I do.
Okay.
But anyway, we sat down for a table with 10,
Mhm.
and we were served family style.
Yes, we were. So we each got our own nice little helping of rice. And the first thing that came on
Bowl of
was
soup. After the rice, we got our soup.
okay, but the egg foo young type stuff.
Well, that came out next.
Pretty
after
quick.
the soup. Yep.
Yeah. So it was an egg omelet that was just kind of fried.
Fried.
It was
breaded
crispy.
and fried, yeah.
It was crispy.
But it had breading around it.
Yes.
So,
And then there was a steamed fish in a
Yes.
really cool
Bowl.
container. You could still see it bubbling. and-
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, it had a little, kind of like a sterno thing down below that kept the
Kept it
sauce.
going.
Well, we had a separate sauce for the fish, but this
That's
was
true.
just the hot water that kept the steamed fish warm.
And it was a bass.
It was a bass.
Yes.
Sea bass.
We had a cashew chicken dish,
Oh,
which
I love
was
that one.
That was my favorite. We had chicken that had been wrapped in banana leaves,
Not banana, plantain, but
plantain leaves.
plantain
Yeah.
leaves.
Yes, and they were good,
That was good.
very good. What else did we have?
We had the green beans
Green beans.
and something like spinach, some sort of. It wasn't quite spinach, but it was
Mhm.
a spinach-like grain. It was a little tartar,
yeah.
maybe a kale or something like
Uh-huh.
that. I don't know.
All in all,
It all disappeared though.
it did, and it was a great meal, and we were all hungry, and we all felt great after, and no food poisoning was
Encountered
had
that we
occurred.
know of.
I felt great. I even drank the local water.
The other people just flipped out when Amy took a drink of her water.
Bah!
Okay. Well, I am going to make the one comment about the food
Okay.
sanity, even
Yeah.
though it's going to show up in subsequent one. But this woman wanted the guy to ask them whether or not they used clean,
Purified.
water while rinsing their ingredients before they cooked them. Yeah, yeah.
I do
And
that.
I
at home.
assured them all the time, yeah.
I do that at home.
Let's
Yeah,
dig
everything. Let's not be offensive, people. I mean, my goodness,
Yeah.
it's cooked, it's steaming, it's fine.
Didn't you read any of the stuff you had for the ship? I mean, come on.
But they handed us all a glass of water. In retrospect, I probably shouldn't have drank it right out of the glass with ice. Though I did see people pouring their bottled water over ice, and I'm like, same damn thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know.
It's frozen germs versus
Exactly.
free-form floating.
Please.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. And then,
No one had a problem.
Yeah. And then we wrapped it up with another hour-long drive to what they called the Colmar French Village,
Yes.
which turned out to be a Disneyland, or what's the little place that has the countries in Disney World?
Epcot.
Epcot Center.
Um,
And it was a hotel.
Not anywhere near as nice.
No,
as Epcot.
no. But it was simply a hotel with fake timbers and plaster to make
Yeah.
it look like a
A
French
little
village.
French village. They did have a cutie little bus that they drove around with the kids riding on. It was, but that wasn't French. That was like,
That was like a British thing,
Yeah.
a double decker. But they had restaurants. a
they
number of
did.
those.
We had a glass of wine. And
But what were our two favorite store stops? There was a
Oh.
7-Eleven and a Krispy Kreme.
Krispy Kreme. Yes.
Yes.
And our friend did buy a donut. I didn't buy a donut, but she did. So,
We had wine instead.
yeah, it really was a hotel that was
Yeah.
just kind of a kitschy
Kitchen
Yeah,
place.
yeah,
But
that's
again, it
right.
was still way up in the mountains, so
It
the
was.
temperature was
It
a
was
lot
nice and
nicer.
cool. And there were monkeys in the trees.
Yep.
We didn't see any, but we heard there were.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about monkeys later also. So that kind of wrapped up. And
that first
we got
day,
back.
It was after 9.
It was 9-ish.
And we
yeah.
just came, and we were hot and tired.
And I couldn't stand to listen to anybody. I immediately put my AirPods in and cranked up some music so I could just tune out.
Some people just don't embrace travel
Well,
and the challenges that come with it, right?
oh yeah,
I mean,
the
sometimes
Easy
you-
Pass incident. Okay, we're doing too many spoiler alerts for our special episode.
I
of
just think that
Dumbness.
when you're traveling in a country, try not to be the stereotypical of the American,
Oh.
right? I mean,
This
try and
crew
go
was
with the
totally
flow. Go with the flow. What you see is what you see. Enjoy it.
If I could have got a bag and made some eye cutouts, I'd probably put it on so I wasn't associated with the people. All right, enough of that. Let's talk about our second day.
Yes. So we
So
did
this-
get up the next morning. We slept in because, of course, we were tired.
Right.
And we had been in a car all damn day. And
I didn't sleep well.
no.
It
And
was,
quite honestly, I had gotten up thinking, we're not going to do anything. We'll just stay on the boat today.
Relax.
And, yeah. And then,
we heard good things about downtown KL.
well, yeah, you were doing laundry. You
Mhm.
kind of got inspired.
I did.
And you saw some pictures, and he came back up and he said, let's go into Kuala Lumpur. And
Yes.
I'm like, okay.
So we got a private driver to take us to some of the sites. and,
a taxi driver from the taxi stand. So we had our choices of 2 different.
Well, they were. It
Itineraries.
was a taxi, but they were set up to do city tours.
Right.
Because remember, we looked at the little pictures, like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
menu, and
Yeah.
one of these, and
We
one
could
of
have
those.
done the Batu Caves.
Mm-hmm.
Look that up on your spare time, or downtown KL.
Yes.
And that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to see the towers. They're iconic. I
Right.
have, I've seen
They
them
were just-
before.
yes.
I've heard of them.
Well, they were designed back in the 90s by
Uh-huh.
Cesar Pele. I don't know how they say it. He's a South American architect.
Mm.
But that was kind of the heart of them establishing the new city
And they were the highest building in the world for a time.
for a time, yes.
Yeah, not anymore. Now they're second,
Yeah, I think
third,
they're way
fourth,
down.
10th.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, they're way down the line.
I'll look it up.
Yes, we'll have to.
But they're impressive
Mm-hmm.
to look at. We got some pictures. So
There
we
was like a 9-story shopping mall, five levels below and 4 above the first floor.
every store you've ever heard of.
Yeah, that you can't afford to buy anything in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Louis Vuitton,
Kate
Dior,
Spade,
Valentino,
Ferragamo. Oy.
We,
And the real LV.
yeah. So our driver, I mean, it was an hour from the ship to downtown KL.
Pretty close, yeah.
So keep that in mind when we tell you the price. So
Yeah.
he takes us all the way down there. He chats with us a little bit. Mostly lets us go, which is fine.
Mr. Chan.
Mr. Chan. He was very nice.
So he would give us, he would ask us how much free time, we'd ask him what he recommends,
Mhm.
and he would say that, and we'd either go, okay, or no. But,
I'll meet you here in an hour.
yes, so we
So-
took a little more time at the towers, and unfortunately, we got there, and we couldn't go up to the observation deck because it was closed for a holiday.
Yeah.
It was the end of Ramadan, so.
And a festival occurs and a feasting, so, yeah, I suppose all those workers wanted to be home with their families, so.
But we took we just walked around and looked at the downtown, took some photos,
Mhm.
went past
Nice
a
little
very.
park there, yeah,
That cute, well, after we did the park, I jumped ahead of you.
yeah.
We found this cute little Japanese restaurant. It was really sparsely designed,
Mhm.
sort of modern. It was air conditioned.
It looked sleek.
Yes.
The pictures on the window I thought looked really good, and I'm thinking in my mind, I want to eat in a place like this. I don't want to eat out of a food stall
Okay.
because, contrary to the day before, I'm not as brave as you think. So, I felt reasonably certain I wouldn't get food poisoning
Did we
from the
talk about the
Japanese
food
place.
stall in a previous episode?
No,
We didn't talk about that, where you got your taco?
no, we did. Yeah,
Okay,
that
all
was in
right.
Singapore.
Okay, that was Singapore.
But, yes, considered myself lucky from the day before. It worked out fine. It was great food.
Ah, okay.
However, I didn't know what we were going to find in our next stops. And I'm very much a bird in the hand
Yes.
kind of girl.
Take advantage of it.
Exactly. So I saw this nice storefront. Everything looked clean and tidy. I saw a picture of something I thought I would enjoy
sorry.
eating.
Now. I didn't properly adorn myself. There we go.
So we walk in, we get a seat, and Jeff gets nigiri.
Yes, I ordered a nigiri special. It was 2, 4, 6, 7 pieces of nigiri,
Mm-hmm.
Including a shrimp, a whitefish, 2 tunas,
And 2 salmon.
2 salmon, then a fatty tuna.
A shrimp?
And a shrimp.
Yeah.
I just said that when I
Yeah,
thought.
okay.
It was wonderful. And then Amy got a really nice little soba noodle.
Soba noodle bowl, which was a tempura soba. So it had some matchstick cucumbers. It had 2 tempura shrimps. It had a little leaf that had been tempura.
And then a mushroom that
Yeah.
was done up like a flower.
Right. And then the soba noodles were on the side, and then there was a broth over it. I thought it would be warm. It was all cold.
Which is probably just as good.
It tasted amazing.
It did.
I was fine. I was just very surprised it wasn't warm. Now, we had those 2 lovely dishes and
2 beers. Suntory.
Suntory beers. $35.
Yeah,
It was cheap.
it was cheap.
So
Well, I mean, it was a great
Yeah.
value. It wasn't
Yeah.
cheap. It was a great value.
it was a good value. Yes. Yes.
I know we couldn't have pulled
That
2
off at
beers
sea.
and that much stuff off at Lee's.
In our
Yeah.
hometown?
Yeah.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
absolutely. So then we left there. We went and found Mr. Chan,
Yeah.
and then he took us to the observation tower. And we decided, well, maybe we could see the Petronas Towers from there.
Yeah.
And the city.
You could, but it wasn't a great angle.
Yeah. And I guess we should have paid extra to go up to the very top where you don't have windows around you. But, yeah.
You
So
know,
we were up.
it's another observation deck.
Yeah.
I'm about done with the
ABOD.
ABOD.
Another
yes.
bloody.
Yes. But it was fun. It was just, we were constantly, in any of our view sites, the whole time we were in Malaysia, we were just blocked by the humidity that just settled over the city like a
Yeah.
fog,
Yeah.
persistent fog.
Now,
But,
Mr. Chan's car had good air AC in it.
He did. Gotta
So,
give it to him.
That was nice.
It was a Toyota Camry.
After that, he took us to the Central Market, which was interesting. A lot of individual stalls, a lot of touristy things, some boutique, a lot of Chinese things,
Yes.
some antiques or photiques, maybe.
Boutiques, yeah. I meant to point out, I was going to show you the daggers they had.
Yeah.
You can see instead of having a full tang that's embedded in the handle, it's just a piece of metal they stuck in. And
Mm,
so
wow.
they were decorated nicely, but it wasn't the
Sure.
real thing.
Sure.
I'm not quite sure how I could get that on the boat, but
Right. Yeah, that might not make it to the metal detector.
well, I just tell them here it is, and put it in storage or something till we get off the boat.
I suppose that might work. Yes.
So yes.
So
And
we
then
did that, and then we walked kind of down the street and around the corner and
to Chinatown.
found the Chinatown
Boy,
market.
that was way more aggressive.
That was a little bit like Chinatown in New York City
Yes,
on Canal Street. Have you been down there?
I have.
Yeah.
I know where
And
Chinatown is.
It's quite similar.
You could get all kinds of bargains there.
Oh, yeah.
All the stuff they sold in the fancy mall we were at earlier.
Oh yeah.
Were,
pennies on
pennies
the
on the dollar. You could get the VL, the Vuitton Lily pocketbook.
Tennis shoes, all kinds of tennis shoes.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Yeah, purses. What else?
Oh, watches.
Oh, yeah.
Watches. Yeah. So you could get a what do you call the Rolexes?
Rolex.
Rolexes. Yeah, it was ROLAX or something like that.
We didn't buy anything.
I was going to if they had a fake tag Heuer.
Yeah.
I would have done that. I mean,
Well, you
come
would
on,
have
for
to stop it.
$25, why
Would-
not?
Would have had to stop and talk to somebody.
I
They
know,
tried.
boy, they
tried to
tried.
get us to stop.
It was
Pretty
tough.
pretty lady, over here.
Young man. I'm
Young
going
man.
like, well, they're obviously not talking to me, young man.
Exactly.
I guess they're
Yeah.
talking to somebody behind me.
I tried to pretend I didn't speak English. I
Yeah.
don't think it worked, but.
We were faking German, I guess.
Yeah. So after that, we found Mr. Chan and we said, take us back to the boat. It's hot.
It's too hot.
And we called the big KL a big check.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful city.
It
It
is.
really warrants a little more time, but like our guide said the day before, they have wonderful weather here, 365 days of summer. And it was just brutal.
Oh, you're right on the equator.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Now, do you recall how much we paid for that day with the taxi driver?
Oh my goodness. Almost
For
nothing.
two of us. Yeah.
For two of us for 5 hours
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
of escort and driving
Hmm.
and help.
And
Tell
hour
me,
there,
Amy,
hour
how
back.
much did we pay?
I want to say it was $60.
It was.
I mean, yeah. And did we give him a tip? We
I
did.
gave him a good
Oh.
tip. Yes.
And poor Mr. Chan.
What? He got a brand new water bottle out of the deal.
He did. I left my water bottle on there with all my new
So
stickers
why
on
are
it.
you poor, Mr. Chan? He did good.
Somebody had given him a
Oh, the
$20
20.
bill that had a tiny piece of tape on it, and he didn't check it before
When he
he
accepted
accepted
it.
it. So he couldn't spend that anywhere.
Yeah.
And-
In Kuala Lumpur, it
Oh.
would have been rejected.
It had to be perfect.
So I swapped in a new one with
Yes.
the little thing in it.
Mhm.
the
And Jeff's
tape.
already gotten rid of it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. We laundered our money pretty good. But we have
All's well.
yeah, I do have a good tipping tale coming up, but
Oh.
that's going to be in the next episode.
Gotcha.
So that was pretty much KL in
Yeah.
a nutshell.
Yeah.
We have an engagement in 3 minutes, so we're going
Oh,
to say goodbye.
Yeah.
And we'll talk to you next time.
You got it.
Ciao.
Hey, where are we going next time?
I don't know.
Okay. You'll see. You'll have to find out next time.
Yes.
Oh, postcard today goes to our friend Stacy in Louisiana. Yes.
Oh, Stacy is related to Alabama Linda
And Terry.
and
Yes.
Terry, and
Yes.
she's watched every episode, so
Wow.
we're
We
going to
love it.
surprise her by sending her a postcard.
Yay,
Yay.
Stacy. Thank
Okay.
you so much.
See
we'll
you
talk
guys
to you all
later.
soon.
Mhm.
Take care.
Bye-bye.